Dark smoke covered the broken city. The sun was hiding behind thick black clouds. Buildings were standing like skeletons, half broken and burned. Cars were turned upside down. Fire was still burning in some places. The smell of blood and gunpowder was everywhere. The ground was full of dead bodies. Soldiers, women, and children lay silent. Nobody was moving. It looked like everyone was gone. The only sound was the cold wind moving through empty streets. But then, in the middle of this death, a small sound came. It was a cough. Soft, but it broke the silence like thunder. A hand moved from under a pile of bodies. Slowly a man pushed dead bodies away and sat up. His face was covered with blood and dirt. His eyes opened, red and full of pain. His name was Rayon. He was the only one left alive. Rayon looked around. His heart was beating fast. Memories came back like knives cutting his mind. He saw his team fighting the enemy. He saw fire raining from the sky. He heard screams of his friends.
Ow.
Then there was silence. Only darkness after that. Now he was alone. He touched his chest. There was blood, but the wound was not deep. He could still move. He tried to stand but fell back. His legs were weak. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He thought of his family, his little sister's smile. He thought of his promise to protect her. Tears mixed with the dirt on his face. "They left me alive," he whispered. His voice was low and cold. "They made a mistake." Rand stood up slowly. He looked at the sky. Dark clouds were moving fast. Thunder roared in the distance. Felt like the world was angry with him, or maybe angry with the killers who destroyed everything. He started walking through the battlefield. He stepped over bodies, his boots making a soft, crunching sound on broken glass. He looked at the faces of his friends who were dead. He said their names softly. Ali Sam. Tariq. His eyes were full of fire now, not fear in his mind. He remembered the faces of the enemy soldiers. He remembered how they laughed when they burned houses. He remembered their leaders' cold eyes. Rage grew inside him like a storm. He picked up a broken rifle from the ground. He checked the bullets. Only 3 were left. He put the rifle on his back. He took a knife from a dead soldier's belt. The blade was shining in the gray light. He held it tight. It felt like hope. As he moved through the city, he heard a strange sound. It was a radio, half broken but still making noise. Picked it up and listened. Oh, a voice spoke in the enemy's language. Rayan did not understand every word, but he heard one thing clearly. "Search for any survivors. Kill them." Rayan's eyes turned colder. He knew they would come back to finish the job. But now he was ready. He was not going to hide. He was not going to run. He was going to fight. He found a small building that was half standing. He climbed to the top floor. From there he could see the whole city. Fires burned like stars on the ground. Smoke moved like black rivers in the sky. He saw a group of enemy soldiers in the distance. They were moving slowly, checking bodies, shooting anyone who looked alive. He knew they would reach him soon. But he did not feel fear. He felt power. Rayon started planning, checked every bullet. He memorized every street. He thought about how to move, where to hide, and when to strike. His mind was sharp. His heart was hard. He was not a victim anymore. He was a hunter now. He sat down behind a broken wall. He closed his eyes for a moment and listened. The city was quiet again, but it was not peace. It was the silence before. The storm. They thought they won, he whispered to himself. But one heartbeat is enough to start a new war. He looked at his hands. They were shaking, not with fear, but with anger. He pressed them together and took another deep breath. He was ready. The camera zooms out if you imagine it like a movie showing the destroyed city with one man standing. Alone on the rooftop, his eyes shine with determination. The wind moves his hair. The sky rumbles with thunder again. The screen fades to black with words. He was the last one alive. But he will not die alone. Rayan sat on the cold floor of the broken building. Rain started falling through the holes in the roof. It felt like the sky was crying for the dead. He closed his eyes and let the drops wash the blood from his face. His mind went back to the last time he saw his family, It was a bright morning before the attack. His little sister Layla was laughing as she chased a yellow butterfly in their garden. His mother was cooking breakfast, singing an old song. His father was fixing the fence, smiling at him. Rayan felt proud. He had promised to keep them safe. He thought nothing could break their peace. But the memory quickly turned dark. He remembered the sound of engines in the sky, the ground shaking as bombs fell. He heard people screaming. Fire covered everything. He saw enemy soldiers running through streets, shooting anyone they saw. He remembered his father grabbing him by the shoulders. "Take your mother and sister. Run," shouted. Rayan tried to pull his mother and sister out of the house. The roof collapsed. Dust and fire filled the air. He could not see. He called their names again and again. When the dust settled, he found them under heavy stones. They were not breathing. He fell to his knees and screamed until his voice was gone. That day he made a promise. He looked at his mother's and sister's faces one last time and whispered, "I will not let them win. I will not rest until I end them all." He came back to the present. His eyes opened. The rain felt cold, but his heart was burning hot. He wiped his face and stood up. He knew his pain was his weapon. He had nothing left to lose. That made him powerful. Outside, he heard a noise. A small group of enemy soldiers was moving through the streets. Their boots splashed in the puddles. They spoke in low voices. They were searching for survivors. Ron crouched low behind the wall. He gripped his knife tight. His eyes followed every movement. He was patient. He remembered his father teaching him how to hunt in the forest. Wait for the right moment. One mistake can cost your life. The enemy soldiers were getting closer. One of them kicked a body to check if it was alive. Another laughed as he wrote something on a wall with blood. "We own this city." Rayan's anger grew. He could feel his heartbeat in his ears, but he controlled his breath. He waited. A soldier stepped into the building where Rayan was hiding. His flashlight moved slowly, shining on broken walls and shattered glass. The light stopped on Rayan's face for 1 second. But before the soldier could shout, Rayan moved like a shadow. He grabbed the soldier's mouth and pulled him back. The knife cut deep and silent. The soldier's body fell with a soft thud. The other enemies outside did not hear anything. Rayan dragged the body into the darkness. He searched it for weapons, found a pistol with 6 bullets and a small radio. He listened to the radio. A voice said, "All units, search every building. Kill anyone alive." Rayan's eyes turned colder. He knew there were many soldiers left in the city, but he did not care. He welcomed them. Each one was another step toward his revenge. He looked at the dead soldier's face. "You came to kill me," he whispered. "Now I will kill all of you." He stepped out into the rain. Drops fell on his face, washing away the blood. The wind blew his hair back. He moved quickly from one shadow to another, like a wolf hunting. In the night, he reached a tall building that still stood strong. He climbed the stairs silently. From the top, he could see the whole city. Fires were still burning. He saw enemy vehicles moving through the streets. Soldiers went from house to house. They thought they were powerful. They did not know he was watching. Rayan took the dead soldier's binoculars and scanned the area. He saw the enemy camp at the center of the city. Big trucks and tanks were parked there. Soldiers gathered around fires, laughing and eating. Felt safe? He smiled a cold smile. "Will come for you," he whispered to himself. "I will come like a storm." Marked the enemy positions in his mind. Every street, every alley, every broken building. This was his city now. He knew it. Better than anyone, he would use it to hunt them. Lightning flashed in the sky, lighting up his face. His eyes shone with rage and determination. He whispered again, remembering his family's faces. "I will not rest until the last of you is gone." The camera, if imagined like a film, zooms out, showing Rayan alone on the rooftop, the burning city below him. Thunder rolled across the sky like the drums of war. The screen fades to black with words. He lost everything. Now he has nothing to fear. The rain fell harder now, cold and sharp, washing blood and ash from the empty streets. Rayan moved through the dark alleys, his body tired, but his eyes still burning with purpose. He knew this night would end in only one way, him or them far. Away, he saw bright lights on the horizon. Enemy helicopters circled the city. Trucks rolled in from the countryside, headlights cutting through the darkness. Reinforcements had arrived. Hundreds of fresh soldiers poured into the ruined city. Their boots pounded the wet ground. The radios crackled with orders. Kill the survivor. Rayan climbed a tall building at the city's center. Ack! From the rooftop, he looked out at the approaching army. He felt the wind on his face, the cold rain soaking his wounds. He was alone, but he felt stronger than ever. This was his city, and he would make them pay for every innocent life they took. He searched the rooftop for supplies and found 2 rocket launchers left behind by the first invaders. He checked them carefully, loaded them, and placed them next to his rifle. Set up traps on the stairs leading up to his position, explosives tied to wires and sharp metal spikes hidden in the shadows. He spoke softly to the dark sky. This ends tonight. Enemy soldiers spread out below. Tanks rolled down the main roads, crushing cars and debris. Helicopters hovered above, their spotlights sweeping the city. Soldiers shouted orders, moving from building to building. Then a helicopter's light found Rayan on the rooftop. A voice shouted, "There he is." Bullets ripped through the night, hitting walls and sending sparks flying. Rayan dropped low, grabbed his rocket launcher, and aimed at the closest helicopter. He fired. The rocket streaked through the rain and smashed into the helicopters. Sighed. A huge explosion lit up the night. Burning metal fell like shooting stars. The helicopter crashed into the street, sending soldiers diving for cover. Enemy radios filled with screams. "He's armed with rockets. Take him down. All units, attack." Tanks aimed their cannons at Rayan's building. The ground shook as shells exploded into the lower floors. Dust and flames rose around him. The building groaned under the force of the blasts, but still stood. Rayan took a deep breath and fired his second rocket at the lead tank. The rocket hit perfectly, turning the tank into a ball of fire. The shockwave knocked soldiers off their feet. They tried to storm the building, but Rayan's traps exploded, sending bodies flying. Flames and smoke filled the stairwell. Gunfire echoed inside, but Rayan stayed on the rooftop, picking off soldiers, one by one with his rifle. From the shadows, he saw another group trying to flank him. He grabbed a grenade and threw it down. The blast shook the walls. Screams rose and fell in the darkness, but the enemy kept coming. More helicopters flew in, more soldiers climbed the building. The rooftop became a battlefield. Bullets flew like rain. Sparks lit up the night and moved fast, ducking and shooting, never staying in one place. His ammo ran low. He pulled his last knife and fought hand-to-hand as soldiers reached the roof. He stabbed, kicked, and punched, every move, desperate but deadly. Bodies fell around him. Blood mixed with the rain, running in red rivers across the rooftop finally. He stood alone, breathing hard, knife dripping with blood, but then he heard the low roar of engines. Armored vehicles surrounded the building. Spotlights blinded him. Dozens of soldiers aimed up from below. Loudspeakers blared, "Surrender or die." Rayan looked at the stormy sky. Lightning flashed. Thunder rolled. He remembered his family's laughter, their warm smiles, and the night everything was taken from him. His eyes burned with tears and rage. He knew he couldn't win against this many, but he wouldn't run. He wouldn't hide. He was the last survivor. He would make his stand. He raised his rifle and fired into the lights below. Soldiers returned fire, hundreds of bullets ripping through the air. Rayan was hit once, twice, 3 times. He staggered but kept shooting. Explosions tore across the rooftop. Flames leaped into the sky. Rayan fell to one knee, coughing blood. But he kept fighting, kept firing, until his rifle clicked empty. He pulled himself up, eyes fierce, and shouted into the night, "You will never break me." A final explosion engulfed the rooftop, sending fire and debris into the storm. The shockwave shook the city. Silence followed, broken only by falling rain. The camera, if imagined like a film, slowly pulls back, showing the burning rooftop, the city in ruins, and soldiers standing silently in the rain. The hunter's last stand had ended, but his spirit burned brighter than any fire. The screen fades to black with words. He fought alone. He died free. His legend will never die. The rain fell without stopping, washing the blood from the burning city. Smoke rose into the night sky, and the storm thundered over empty streets. The battle was over. The last rooftop was silent. Rayan, the lone hunter, had fallen. Enemy soldiers searched the ruined building. They found no sign of him among the flames and rubble. Some whispered that his body was gone, taken by the storm itself. Others believed he was still alive, hiding in the shadows, waiting for his next strike. Days passed, then weeks. The enemy rebuilt their camps, trying to control the city they had destroyed. They sent patrols into every street, but something had changed. Soldiers felt fear in every dark alley, every broken window. They spoke of the ghost who hunted them, the survivor who could not die. Strange things began to happen. Munition disappeared from guarded trucks. Officers were found dead in their beds, throats cut silently. Explosions destroyed enemy supply. Lines at night. Messages appeared on ruined walls, written in blood or paint. You left one survivor, he left none. Soldiers grew afraid of the darkness. They refused to patrol alone. They jumped at every sound. Went mad, screaming that they saw Rayan's shadow in the rain. Others deserted, running into the forests rather than face the hunter's ghost. The enemy commanders ordered airstrikes on empty buildings. They burned entire blocks, hoping to kill the one man who terrified their army. But the more they tried, the stronger the legend grew. Civilians who had hidden during the battle came out of the ruins. They whispered stories of Rayan, the man who fought alone, the man who made the invaders bleed. The people began to resist. Small groups of survivors attacked enemy patrols. They took weapons, set traps, and spread fear. They painted Rayan's words on every wall. You left one survivor, he left none. Across the city, a new hope was born. People who had lost everything found strength in the legend. They remembered how Rayan fought alone, never gave up, and made the enemy pay for every life stolen. His courage became their courage. His rage became their rage. The enemy soon realized the truth. They had killed a man but created an idea more dangerous than any gun or bomb. Rayan's story became a fire that could not be put out. Months later, in the deep forests outside the city, a group of enemy soldiers moved carefully among the trees. They were tired, eyes wild with fear. They had heard rumors that the survivor lived in these woods, striking anyone who dared enter. Suddenly, one soldier tripped over a wire. A small bomb exploded, sending smoke and fire through the trees. Shadows moved fast among the trunks. Silent arrows hit soldiers one by one. Screams echoed through the forest. A figure stepped out of the mist. He wore torn, dark clothes. His face was scarred, eyes cold but burning with life. It was Rayan. He had survived. He had watched from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. He moved through the enemy like a storm, silent and deadly. He fought with knives and arrows, using every tree and stone as his ally. His hands were steady, his mind sharp. He felt alive, filled with purpose. Every enemy he killed was one step closer to freedom for his people. The final soldier fell. The forest became quiet again, filled only with the sounds of rain and wind. Rayan stood alone, breathing hard, looking up at the stormy sky. He thought of his family, their smiles and his memories, their love giving him strength. He knew the fight would not end tonight. But he also knew he would never stop. He would carry the war into every forest, every street, every camp. He would teach the enemy that even one man, with nothing left to lose, could shake an entire army. He turned back into the forest, disappearing into the darkness. Behind him, the enemy's bodies lay in the mud, a warning to all who came to take what was not theirs. The camera, if imagined like a film, pulls up high into the storm clouds, showing the endless forest below. Thunder cracks, lightning flashes, and in the shadows, one man moves like a phantom, The survivor who refused to die. The screen fades to black with words. They tried to kill a man. They created a legend. His war is not over. It was a quiet night in space. 3 alien ships moved slowly near Earth's orbit. They were not enemies. They came in peace. So their mission was simple. Study humans from a distance. No contact, no harm. Just watch. Captain Varel of the Zarek race stood on the main deck, looking at Earth through a screen. They are so simple, he said to his crew, but interesting. Whoosh it. The Zarek Spear was the lead ship. Behind him were 2 more scout vessels. Everything was going smoothly, till it was. Suddenly, the lights on the control panel started blinking red. Captain, something is wrong with the stabilizers. One alien officer shouted. Another. The voice came through the intercom. It was from the second ship. We're losing control. Something is inside our systems. Captain Varel's heart raced. Are we under attack? No weapons fired, no missiles, no radiation detected, the officer said. But something is hitting us. Something invisible. The second ship started spinning. It lost altitude. Fast. Within seconds, it crashed into the ocean near South America. A big flash of light was seen from space. Then the third ship lost power and went dark. It followed the same path, crashed into the Atlantic. Now, only one ship remained. The Zarek Spear. Everyone was silent. The computers restarted. A strange sound played on all speakers. A deep, shaking scream, not a normal scream. It was something else, something terrifying. It was human. One alien covered his ears. Another fell to the floor, shaking. Captain Varel stared at the screen. Replay that sound, he ordered. The sound played again. It was short, raw, deep, full of pain, anger. Empowered Captain Varel whispered that sound. It came from Earth. But how? He looked at the screen. A small radio tower in the mountains of North India had sent the frequency. That's not a radio signal, his science officer said. That was a voice, a scream. Human. Captain Varel was confused. How can a voice destroy ships? There was no answer. The captain looked again at Earth. They don't even know they have a weapon, he said. A weapon made of sound.
Meanwhile,
On Earth, Lieutenant Mara, a human communication officer, was called into a secret military meeting. She worked at a research station in Alaska. She had just seen the news. 2 unknown objects crashed into the ocean. Some said meteors, some said satellites, but Mara knew better. In the meeting room, 4 men in black suits were waiting. One of them placed a small device on the table. Listen to this, he said. Mara heard the sound. That same scream. Raw, powerful, chilling. She felt something inside. Her chest, like fear and excitement. What was that? She asked. The man looked at her. That was the last thing heard before 2 alien ships fell from the sky. Mara's eyes widened. You're saying human scream made alien ships crash? The man nodded. We don't know how, but we have reports. Aliens are scared. They think. We have a secret weapon. But we don't. We don't even understand it. Mara was silent. The man said, we need you to join a special team. We're tracking the source of this sound, a location in North India. A radio tower picked up and sent something unnatural in space. Captain Varel sent a final message to his home planet. Avoid Earth at all cost. The humans have a weapon, a war cry. It is not technology, it is emotion, fear, rage. Something inside them can destroy us without touching us. 2 ships down. We're leaving. Do not return. Then he ordered the ship to jump to hyperspace. As his ship disappeared into the stars, the Earth remained calm. But something had changed. 2 days later, a group of soldiers reached the old radio tower in the Indian mountains. It was broken, rusted, no power. But the team's device picked up something strange. Residual energy from a voice. Mara stood near the tower. She touched the metal. Someone screamed here, she said quietly. But who and why? Her radio buzzed. We found cave carvings. Nearby, someone said. Very old, very strange. She walked to the cave. On the wall, there was a painting, a human figure screaming toward the sky. Around the figure, shapes of ships. Falling from the clouds, Mara stepped back. It's not new, she whispered. It's ancient. She looked up at the sky. What are we? She asked. No one answered, but somewhere deep in space, other alien races were now watching Earth. Closely, afraid, curious. Because the humans had done something impossible, they made ships crash. With just a scream, 3 days after the crash, the world was still confused. News reports talked about falling debris. Some said meteors, others said UFOs. But behind closed doors, the truth was spreading. Alien ships had crashed, and they crashed. Because of a sound a scream sent from Earth. In Alaska, Lieutenant Mara stood in front of a map. Red circles showed strange energy spikes across different parts of the world. But one place was glowing brighter than all others. The Himalayan mountains. A tiny old radio tower had sent out something no one could explain. Not a song, not a signal, but a human voice, a war cry. Mara looked at her team. Go there now. Take everything we have. This is bigger than anyone thinks. The mountains of North India, cold wind blew across the rocky slopes. Mara and her team climbed up slowly. With them were scientists, soldiers, and one sound expert. Dr. Rafiq. He carried a small black box that could detect energy from voices. They reached the tower. It was broken and rusted. No power. No humans around. Just silence. Dr. Rafiq scanned. The area. There's something here, he said. The box started to blink. Sound energy. Strong but old, he continued. This came from a human. But it's like it's burned into the air. Mara looked at the nearby cave wall again, the one with the old painting of a screaming human and falling ships. She whispered, was it a warning or a memory? Somewhere in deep space. A secret alien meeting was taking place. Leaders from different worlds had gathered. Their holograms floated in a dark chamber. They made 2 ships fall. Without a weapon, said one tall alien with glowing eyes. Another replied, it was a war cry. We picked it up too. Not machine, not tech. Something emotional, something alive. A third alien growled. That scream could destroy fleets. If weaponized, we must act now. The council voted. Earth must be contained. Back on Earth, Mara and her team went deeper into the cave. They found tunnels filled with old carvings. More pictures of humans standing tall, screaming while strange. Alien ships fell above them. In one corner there were symbols, almost like writing. Dr. Rafiq scanned them. This is not human language, he said. Mara asked Alien. He nodded, and very old. Suddenly the black box started blinking again. Faster. Another spike. Rafiq shouted. It's coming from inside the mountain. The team followed. The signal. It led to a deep, hidden chamber. Inside was a stone chair, and on it a skeleton. Human arms stretched, mouth wide open, frozen in a scream. Everyone went quiet, Dr. Rafiq whispered. This was the first, the original screamer. Elsewhere, a secret U.S. military base received a signal from space. An alien message, it said, "We know what you have. Disable it, or we will come." But humans didn't know how to disable it. They didn't even know what it truly was. Later that night, back in the mountains, Mara couldn't sleep. She walked outside the camp and looked up at the stars. Why is this happening now? She asked herself. And who was the person in that chair? Just then, Dr. Rafiq joined her. I've been reading the alien symbols, he said. I translated part of it. What does it say? She asked. He looked serious. It says, we made them to scream. We gave them the cry. And one day, they will remember who they are. Mara stared at him. They made us, she asked. He nodded. Maybe we were designed to do this. Not just survive, but destroy. With our voice. The mountain shook slightly. A low hum filled the air, then silence again. Mara looked at the cave entrance. Something had awakened, in orbit around Earth. A new alien ship appeared. Larger, heavily armed. It sent a message to all countries on Earth. Surrender the humans who carry the cry, or prepare for war. Earth didn't respond, because no one knew who the Screamers were, or how many of them existed. Final scene of Part 2. Back at the mountain base, a young soldier accidentally touches the cave wall. A deep vibration fills the air, and then the sound comes again. The scream low at first, then loud and powerful. Birds fly away. Rocks shake, and far above in the sky, one alien satellite explodes. Mara shouts, "Everyone down!" Cut to black. Location, military hospital, New Delhi. 2 days later, the young soldier who touched the cave wall was now lying in a hospital bed. His name was Arjun. He was unconscious. When he had screamed, no one understood what happened. His voice made rocks shake and a satellite explode in orbit. He didn't remember any of it. Lieutenant Mara stood beside his bed. A doctor said, "His body is normal. No fever, no brain damage." But his vocal cords, they changed. Stronger, thicker. Mara looked confused. "You mean his scream changed his body?" "No," the doctor said. "His body was always like this. Something activated it." Meanwhile, in a hidden lab in Germany, file marked Project Thunder Voice 1943 was opened. Inside were old black and white photos. Human soldiers, mouths wide open, screaming, which alien machines destroyed. Behind them, a secret message was found. Some humans are born with it. A scream that breaks metal. We studied them during the war, but they disappeared. The file ended with one line: "The voice is not noise. Its emotion turned into destruction." Back in the Himalayan Camp DR, Rafik and Mara were studying the cave symbols again. He said, "This wasn't just art. It's a record, a warning, and a plan." He pointed to one image. It showed a human child with a strange glow inside the throat. Around the child were alien scientists. "They didn't just find humans. They made us," Rafik said. "A long time ago, another race built humans as weapons." "The scream is not random, it's designed," Mara whispered. "So some of us are weapons. And we never knew." He nodded. "Until now." At the same time, alien ship orbiting Earth Captain Varel returned. His ship stayed far above Earth, outside sound range. He reported to the Galactic Council. "The scream is back. We have confirmation. Another one of them has awakened." The council sent a message: "If more screamers appear, Earth must be silenced." Location, New York. Secret human meeting leaders from top countries gathered underground. A scientist played a video clip of the scream from Arjun. "We scanned it," she said. "It's not just sound. It's pure emotion, energy, rage, grief, fear, pushed through the human voice." A general asked, "How many of these screamers are out there?" The scientist replied, "Unknown, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. They don't activate until something triggers them. Trauma, fear, extreme anger." Another general said, "So what you're saying is, we're sitting on a time bomb." Back in India, Arjun wakes up. Arjun opened his eyes. His voice was soft. "What happened to me?" Mara sat beside him. "You screamed," she said, "and a machine in space exploded." He looked scared. "I didn't mean to. I felt afraid. Something inside me just broke." She nodded. "You didn't do it on purpose, but it's in you." He looked at his hands. "Am I dangerous now?" "No," Mara said. "But some people will try to use you." Flashback. A memory from Arjun's childhood, remembered being 5 years old. He got lost in a forest. Wild animals came near. He cried, screamed. Next thing he remembered, trees falling, animals running, birds flying away. His parents never believed him. Now it made sense. Same day the first attack, an unknown ship entered Earth's atmosphere. It was not here to talk. It launched a small probe into the mountains. The probe sent out a shockwave looking for screamers. Dr. Rafik's device started blinking fast. It's scanning us, he shouted. Arjun held his ears. Sound made him fall to the ground. He screamed again, but this time on purpose. A shockwave of pure sound shot from his mouth. The alien probe melted in the air. Everyone stared in. Silence, Mara said. He didn't just defend us. Dr. Rafik finished her sentence. He destroyed it. Final scene. Inside the alien Council, a hologram showed the destroyed probe. The screamer is learning to control it, the council leader said. Another alien replied. Then they are no longer just weapons. They are soldiers. The screen turned. Red. Begin containment plan. Send ships. Earth has become unstable. Last lines back in the camp. Mara looked at Arjun. You're not a monster, she said. You're a key. Maybe to war. Or maybe to saving us all. He nodded, eyes serious. Then I need to know who else is like me, he said, and where they are. Location. Deep orbit above Earth, alien ship. Varel command stars were calm. But inside the alien ship, everything was moving. Fast. Captain Varel stood in front of a giant screen showing Earth's surface. Deploy the first strike team, he ordered. From the ship's lower hangar, 3 drop pods launched. Inside each pod were elite alien hunters. Their mission, capture. The human screamer alive, one whispered. Do not let him scream. The others nodded. Location. Himalayan base. Earth, same time Arjun, stood on a cliffside, breathing deeply. Mara and Dr. Rafik stood nearby. We don't have time, Mara said. They're coming for you. Arjun looked down at his hands. I don't know how to control it. Dr. Rafik handed him a small device. This helps you track your voice frequency. Think of it like training wheels for your scream. Suddenly alarms went off. 3 objects appeared on radar falling from the sky fast. Drop pods, Mara shouted. Get ready. Elsewhere. UN Global Emergency Meeting, a video played in front of world leaders. It showed a satellite destroyed by a human scream. Then footage of the alien warning. Surrender the screamers, or we attack. Some leaders wanted to give up Arjun. Others refused. One general stood up. You don't surrender a weapon. You learn to use it. Back to Himalayan base. First contact, the first alien pod smashed into the ground near Arjun. Smoke. Fire. Then silence. Out of the pod stepped a tall alien hunter wearing black armor. Its eyes glowed red. It moved fast, too fast. Arjun stepped back. The alien raised a small cannon, but before it could shoot, Arjun screamed. The blast of voice hit the alien directly. Its armor cracked. It flew back and hit a rock wall. But it wasn't dead. The alien got up, slower now. It tapped its chest, sound shields activated. Arjun's next scream had no effect. Mara shouted, Fall back! Now! Inside alien command ship report, Captain Varel asked. One alien replied, He's stronger than we thought. Broke armor in one scream, but he is not trained. Varel nodded. We must find the others, the old ones. A second. Screen showed Earth glowing with red dots. H1 was a possible screamer signal. They were waking up. Location. Africa. Desert region. A girl, age 12, sat quietly near a campfire. Her village had been attacked by something unseen. Machines flying overhead, she had cried, she had screamed, and everything within 1 mile collapsed. Locals said the sky cracked. The sound was heard 80 kilometers away. Another screamer had awakened back in the Himalayas. Fight continues. More alien hunters landed. This time, they used sound blockers, giant walls of buzzing noise that made it hard for Arjun to scream. Mara, Dr. Rafik, and 2 soldiers held them off with weapons. Arjun was hit in the leg. He fell. Then, something changed. He stopped screaming in fear. He screamed in rage. This time, it wasn't just sound. It was like a wave of force. The air rippled. Trees bent. Rocks cracked. All 3 aliens were thrown into the sky. One hit a mountain and exploded. Silence. Followed, Arjun passed out. Location. Washington, D.C. Secret lab scientists watched Arjun's energy spike. One said, that scream could flatten a small city. And he's still untrained. Another whispered, "What happens when 10 of them scream together?" Inside, Alien Council A leader said, "They are evolving. Fast. Emotion is making them stronger." Another replied, "Then we have no choice. We must send the silencers." The room went cold. Everyone looked at each other. The silencers were feared, even among aliens. They didn't kill, they erased. Back on Earth, Mara's camp Harjan woke up in a safe zone far from the mountain. "I lost control," he said quietly. Mara smiled. "No, you found your strength." Dr. Rafik entered, holding a device. "We found another one, in Africa, a girl." Her screams stopped 3 ships in midair. Arjun sat up. "We need to find all of them," he said. "Before the aliens do," Mara nodded. "Then we train them together." Final scene. Deep space, a massive ship leaves alien territory. Black, silent, and shaped like a dagger. Inside are the silencers. The countdown begins. Target Earth. Objective, end the screamers. Erase the voice of mankind.